What's up, folks? I'm Odd, by the way, and I got a new background in the form of this little cloth room divider. I figured that it looked a little bit more structured than the sheet, but it's still relatively transportable, which is good because my room is pretty small. But today is going to be a thing that I wanted to do twofold. First, around the internet, I have seen a lot of people doing like Pokemon OCs that don't necessarily look like they belong to the current Pokemon world, where all the Pokemon look relatively the same, but instead look like their own little animals, and that seems like something that I'd want to do. And also, to revisit my little collection of Pokeymans, the absolutely bootleg little Pokemon figurines that I got a couple years ago. I made a video about them back in Bad Standing Habits, and it's old, but I still think that it's funny because I'm just naming them all by what they look like more so than what they initially like were. I gave them nicknames based off of the fact that they were totally bootleg Pokemon. So yes, I have them here in this lovely drawstring bag. And one thing, okay, I have so many of these. I understand in theory this seems like a perfect way to get reusable packaging and merch out of your company. Okay, but I have so many bags! So many bags! Too many bags! Not enough items to fit into the bags! What do I do with the bags? So, yes, the bootleg Pokemon have been living in here because they kept getting knocked off of my shelf because they're itty-bitty. And there's so many of them. There's like 75 of them. So, yes, today I figured that I would basically kind of do a blind draw of a fake Pokemon, kind of a bootleg Pokemon. Maybe even use some of the aspects of its bootleg design in my idea, and then create a Pokemon OC based off of that relatively random draw. Make sure that I don't accidentally get a clothespin. Because those were stored in here too for a little while. Okay. So I'm gonna draw like 3. Because 3 is a good number with me. And we're just gonna... It's the naked hedgehog! Focus. You know you want to. Look at the naked hedgehog. What about by my face? Might need to zoom in. Naked hedgehog. Alright. This is a tag. Also clean trash out of this, apparently. Oh, this is a crocodile. It's just a little bit messed up in the paint department. Very red theme seems to be appearing in these Pokemon. One more. At some point or another, maybe I'll repaint these. Not now, though. I'm out of white paint. Still, from the mask experience. You can't see her, but she's hanging up behind me. And... Barrel! Yes, this isn't one that I got with the original set. This is one that I pulled when I was having a hard time at the mall. I went to this, like, crane game arcade like place that they had set up in the mall. I pulled out like 20 bucks and then proceeded to transfer that into quarters. Won nothing. So I went to the little Pokemon Gachapon that they had there and got bootleg Meryl. So that was how I made myself feel better. Don't play rigged claw games, kids. Maybe just don't play them at all. They're kind of made to be rigged. But yes, okay, so we have 2 reds and a blue, basically. We have Merle, Nikki Hedgehog. I forget what I called this one in the original video, but just... little crocodile. Alright, so I'm going to take these little guys and try and see if I can't make something cool out of them. And I'll hop over to speed paint and voiceover. Nikki Hedgehog, no! Stay. See you there. So, starting with the Cyndaquil, I decided that since I call the figurine Nakey, it might be funny to make it look sort of like a hairless cat. I don't know if hedgehogs are echidnas? Is it an echidna? have the capabilities of getting the hairless trait, but I thought it would be fun nonetheless, and these are fantasy creatures anyway. Even though this Cyndaquil, which I just wound up naming Naki, is a fire type, I thought that it would be adorable that when they're not battling, they just use a little sweater to keep warm. I wound up just making it that all of these Pokemon are basically pets to some degree, probably domesticated and human-bred and raised Pokemon. And with that being said, we move on to Crocodile, who I called Crony. Since the figure was mostly red, I thought it would be funny to make an albino, or at least a very low pigmentation variant. Albino alligators are definitely a thing that I've seen around that are obviously mostly living in captivity. I'm not quite sure, but I think that it can result from poor breeding, like inbreeding or not being aware of certain traits. Regardless, Crony here is pretty lazy, living in the lap of luxury, not needing to be a crook. She's in a very laid-back, paint me like one of your French gators pose. I imagine she's quite the boss lady, despite her name. Last up, we've got Merle. I wound up just basing these all loosely on the minor inspirations I got from the designs of the bootleg Pokemon, and Merle had a few speckled paint mishaps which made me think of spots. I decided to go for a calico pattern for one kind of funny instance where, due to Azurill only having a 25% chance of being male, Meryl, the next step, still has a 50% chance of being male. So, occasionally, to even out the statistics between the two of them, Azurill can, or at least could, I don't know if this is still a thing, change to male after evolving. A trans icon, really. So I thought that it would be funny to have a male calico Meryl, because male calicos are very statistically unlikely, and if they're born, they're usually intersex because it's the presence of the two X chromosomes, which causes the ability for 3 color traits to show up in that calico pattern. Basically, the idea is that Merle was born a female Azurill, did the thing, and is now a male calico. So, yeah, it's kind of a deep cut, but I like it that way. I also decided that I was missing something in the lower right corners and that his pose left something to be desired, so I drew him from like that meme of the cat that got the flower thrown on their head and looked like they saw God.
The prophecy is true.
But yeah, these are my interpretations of some of my little bootleg guys. This was definitely a move into something a little bit more simple and sketchy, which is a contrast from the intensity of last week, but I still hope that you liked this video. Be sure to leave a like if you did like it, and subscribe to see more fun art projects and challenges in the future. My next goal is 200, and I'm almost halfway there. Super stoked. Regardless, I'll see y'all next time.